right, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Happy Monday evening to you. Listen, so excited this evening that I have a group of friends along with me for a special conversation that I know is going to be valuable to everyone on here. So, listen, this is what I need you to do. If you are watching this, you need to share this on your platform because somebody you're connected with needs this information. So, go ahead and share it. Go ahead and share it to your Facebook, share it from that YouTube link. If you're watching it on Instagram, just go ahead and message it to someone because we're going to have a discussion that I don't think we have enough in the circles and the spaces that we operate in the faith-based spaces, in the service-based spaces, in the idea-based spaces. We don't have this conversation enough because maybe some of us are afraid to say the things that the individuals who are going to come on here are saying just by the title. So I'm going to introduce my friends, our group this evening. We have something we're going to share with you at the end, so you don't want to miss it. It's something special. Allow me this evening to bring on, I'll just call them the Avengers. All right. So it's Athena Shack, Pierre Quinn, MyRon Edmonds. Y'all, how y'all doing this evening? Say hello to the people. How y'all doing this evening?
Pretty good, pretty good. Excited.
Hey, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I
let's
want
go.
the Avengers. We can work with it. We can work with it.
Listen,
sir.
y'all have seen me do things, and one of these three people, two of them, all three of them are going to be on when we're talking about how to take the gifts and the talents that we have and move it out into the marketplace. And we just said, let's just all come together, have a conversation this evening about a topic that many of us, it's aspirational for some of us. Some of us, we want to know, tell me when you get there, what are some of the things you wish you knew before you got there. So here's the conversation that we're going to start with. What I wish I knew before I grew my six-figure business. All right. So that's telling you something about each person on here right off the bat. But more than that, let me just say, everyone on here has something in common. Ministry is in your background. MyRon, Athena, Pierre, just kind of give us a little bit about your ministry background, how you serve others through different places.
Oh man, pastoring for 25 years.
Wow.
25, man, 25 years. Second generation pastor. Grew up in the church. Just always around the church. Every time the church was open, I was there. Yeah, man, just a church kid, but also, came into ministry, passionate about pastoring. As a matter of fact, I told you I never saw myself doing anything else other than pastoring until the pandemic happened. And man, I had a chance to actually be still and hear from God on this new season, this new venture. And so, man, yeah, I just got pushed into wanting to coach and encourage and support men. Saw what happened to George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery. All these things were hitting me as I was sitting on my couch like so many of you guys were in 2020. And I was like, I need to do something. I did all the marches, caught COVID out there marching, and did all of that. But I was like, I need to do something. And the Lord just kind of brought me back to this interest I had over the years and just eventually went full time into it. And I'm having so much fun now, man. The most fun I've ever had in my ministry life I'm doing right now. So it's been cool.
Awesome. Athena, let's go to you. Tell us about your ministry background, your service for others in that church space. And you're still doing it, Reverend Shack.
Yes, I am still doing it. I've been in the ministry probably well over like 25 years. But in ordained ministry, maybe for like the last 15 or so.
Okay.
Was in church. I was the Sunday school teacher, the superintendent, did all of those things way before I accepted the full call into ministry. And then when I did, that's when, my life exploded. And then things, got turned just upside down for me. But then that kind of instigated my purpose when ministry really took its form. It didn't take its form back then when I was just doing what felt right. It took its form after pain. I found my purpose. And that it exploded into a book and all these other things that, we'll get to at some point. But that really was my starting point. It was just pain, purpose,
Wow.
ministry began. So yes, I'm an ordained minister. I serve locally, gone to, different countries, speaking and doing all those kinds of things, writing books, all that good stuff. So that's me.
I love it. I love it. Pierre.
Ooh, yeah, I'm a church kid too. I born and raised in the church, and I was one of those probably quintessential church kids that they say, okay, he's gonna grow up and be a pastor one day. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to do anything but. I asked myself in college, what's the closest that I can get to ministry without doing a theology degree? So I ended up doing a degree in communication. Ultimately, I went to the seminary some years later, not because I necessarily wanted to pastor, but I knew in some of the spaces that I was in that I needed that credential. Like people look at you less weird when you have the credential and they invite you to preach. That was my end game. So I didn't do 25 years in the game, right? I don't have to tattoo tears from that. I did 7 years as a full-time pastor, and my passion from leadership development really was born out of my pastoral experience. I recognized we were dropping ministers into places. They had theological training, but they didn't have leadership awareness. And that burden led to a book, led to speaking, led to coaching, that ecosystem. And I'm still working with leaders, both in the church, ministry leaders and marketplace leaders today, teaching the fundamentals of leadership, much of which I learned in the church growing up.
I love it. I love it. Listen, and I see a common theme, God taking your experiences from the past. There's maybe a painful moment that kind of explodes the clarity and says, move in this direction. And my background, my undergrad degree is in business, but even before that, like a lot of you on here said already, I'm a church kid. It's always involved. And even in being involved, I always wanted to do things differently. I always had ideas. And
a choir director. I just let me throw that out there.
Yes. Choir director. But the church space, and as you mentioned, choir director, man, I had no business leading a choir, except that they gave me an opportunity to lead. And that's what I think the church does for a lot of us. It gives you opportunities to explore your gifts, to try new things. And so I did, and ended up doing a business degree, going back to school to study in the seminary, because as some of us mentioned on here, you have a heart and you say, where is the best place to live out this? And it's through pastoral ministry. That was the calling at the time for me. And so I pastored for over 15 years, and then felt that same tug that I felt to leave the business world to go into pastoral ministry, to leave pastoral ministry, to go back into the marketplace and to bridge that make that connection between ministry and marketplace. So here I am, here we are, we're having this conversation. And I'm curious, for those of you who are watching this either on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Instagram, if you want to grow something of your own, I just want you to put the word grow in the comments, because I think that's also something that the four of us had in common. There was somewhere along the line where, yes, we're serving, yes, we're working for an organization, yes, we're building up the kingdom and building up an organization, but we had this desire to grow something of our own, something that God had planted an idea inside of our minds. So just put it in the comments. If you have the idea, you have the desire, you have that nudge, that's that itch that you can't let go to grow something, just put the word grow. I see you all in the comments. All right. So we kind of fast forwarded people today by the title, What I Wish I Knew Before I Grew a Six-Figure Business. However, no one wakes up and the next day just has a six-figure business. There's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of learning, a lot of trials, a lot of challenges. For each of you, what might have been one of the unexpected challenges that you had towards growing a business? And just for the purpose of everyone, while you're answering that question, just tell us a little bit about what the main focus of your business is all about.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go in reverse order if you don't mind this time, Pierre. So what's the main focus of your business and an unexpected challenge towards growing it?
Yeah, my work really centers on teaching leaders how to lead from the inside out. So all of my speaking, my training, my coaching centers around that. It equipping leaders with the skills around emotional intelligence so they can better lead themselves, better lead their teams, and better lead their business. Like that's where my ecosystem sits. Here's the thing about growing up in the church, man. And I know, Athena, you know this. I know, MyRon, you know this as well. From a church standpoint, as a speaker, lecturer, seminar presenter, you don't really have to market. Not for real, for real. Like there's an unwritten rule in the church space. If you good enough, people will call you. People they will text, they will email, they will DM, they will reach out to you. And in some cases, you can't even really, if we find in a church space that you're more or less promoting, at least from a speaking standpoint, the idea is that you probably not that good. When I got into this thing and promoted my own business, I was like, wait a minute. I actually got to tell people, like I actually have to email and DM and go live and talk sometimes incessantly about what I do. And that was such a shift for me, such a strain from growing up in the church and seeing that as thought of as kind of like a no-no in this space, because you have been gifted, called, and skilled, that you need to tell more people about what you do. So as that was a strain and a paradigm shift for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So true.
Athena, I'll let you go last on this one. So, MyRon, how about you? Tell us what's the main focus of your business, and just for everyone's purposes, we were talking about this today, and Pierre is not in the best studio light because he's doing the work that he mentioned. He is speaking, he's doing some training, he's on the road. MyRon, tell us about what is the main focus of your work, and what was an unexpected challenge for you in building six-figure business?
The main focus of my work is to help men of faith to win in what matters. Honestly, I'm out here helping myself. I am ministering to guys like me, and I think that to answer your question, the six-figure business, period. It's like, bro, money and ministry do not go together. Okay. Now listen, they only go together for people who are not pastors, right? Now we tell our members they are the priesthood of all believers, but we don't mean that, right? What we really mean is you all assist the pastor in doing the work. He's really the most important one. And guess what? If he's a pastor, he can receive a check from, wherever, whether it's the church or whether it's the organization. But that's it. Anything outside of that, he has no business enjoying money. He has no business having his finances even in order. He's to look poor. He is to struggle, and that makes him look more spiritual. So that's one extreme. When you step out of that extreme into the realm of being sort of on your own and independent in ministry, and you have to actually take care of your family and things of that nature, then you have to deal with the limiting belief that you have been affected by being a part of ministry in the church, that you got to go out there and make some money. And you got to do what Pierre said. You actually have to go out there and make some money. You got to market yourself. You got to chase it, but then you have to walk that tightrope, because then people are going to accuse you. Is this about ministry? Are you supposed to charge? Or is this about, now the doctor, he's a minister. He can charge a very nice, handsome salary for his services. The lawyer can get our kids off and adults out of trouble, and they can charge retainer fees out the wazoo. But you just cannot preach and teach and share and have that on you and at the same time make money. You prosperity preacher, you pilferer, you mercenary, you. So for me, it was the limiting belief I had that while others could take care of their families in the church, that I could not do that, because ministry and money do not go together.
Wow. So the limiting beliefs, Pierre, for you, it's just the putting yourself out there and sharing what you have and telling other people. What about you, Athena? Tell us, what's the main way that you built your business, and what has been that big challenge for you to building that six-figure business?
So my business is publishing, book publishing.
Mhm.
And it started from obviously, writing my own book, publishing my own book to start with, and then realizing, oh, you know what? You're supposed to be doing this for others. This wasn't just something that you're supposed to do for yourself. So it started with this pull, and MyRon talked about this passion, right? It started with this pull. I want to serve. I want to help people, do what I was able to do for myself, and they don't have the skill set to do it themselves. And I started this business, but it was kind of started with this bleeding heart. And here comes my challenge, right? Um, I structured the business as a strong business, great infrastructure, but I was leading it with a bleeding heart.
Mhm.
And so I was operating from this heart and, oh, I would do it for free because I love it so much type of thing. And my husband's in the background like, no, you cannot, and so I gave out of my bleeding heart because I'm passionate about what I wanted to do. I'm passionate about helping people tell their stories, get it in book. I wanted them to have the same success and the same things that I had when I published my book, that I didn't value my time, and I didn't value my services. And it took me a long time to make that switch. Um, and I still struggle at times. I've come a long way, Kimo. I've come a long way.
You have.
I've come a long way because, and I say this too, because I'm an author and a publisher, right? So I understood both, right? I'm an author first, so I get where you're at, but I couldn't stay there as a publisher, bleeding out, right? And grow to a six-figure business. I wish I would have caught the revelation a lot sooner,
Mhm.
because it would have been a lot profitable earlier. earlier. But that was my issue. I was really leading with a bleeding heart, and I had to shift my prayers. I had to shift my pricing, and I had to shift how I helped people, to avoid staying there.
I love it. I love it. It's so interesting you say that, right? There's that tug, there's that internal tug. And for those of you watching this, again, we have this live discussion. What I wish I knew before I built a six-figure business. I heard you, Athena. If I had known some of this before, we could have gotten there faster, right? I think we can all concur with that. And so what we're sharing with you are lessons so that you don't have to take as long as we took. You don't have to make the same mistakes we made. You don't have to fall into some of the same mental roadblocks that we have fallen into. Because like Athena, like Pierre, like Myron says, there was that mindset of, I don't want people to think I'm only in this for the money. And so I downplay money. I give away my services. I minimize the value I bring to the table. And I think that's my challenge. I minimize the value I brought to the table, and I compared what I had to other people so that I always say, well, I'm not as good as this one, so I shouldn't charge. And that was the shift I had to make to actually value, to stop with this, fake humility and say, no, God has given me something, and I stand in confidence with what God has given me. And so that's just one shift that I've had to make in order to do this. Now, we had a discussion today, the four of us, and we talked about, as we've built our businesses, there are three elements. Even though each of you I would say, is a specialist in one area or the other, but there are three elements that have kind of gone into building these businesses. And those three are coaching, writing, and speaking. Kind of talk about the intersection of those three for your business. Let's start off with you, Myron. How has each of those helped you to expand your impact and also grow your income?
Yeah, it's interesting. In pastoring, you do all three of those things. It is the thing that actually, it's actually the job description that most of us get into pastoring to do. We realize once we start pastoring, oh my goodness, there's some other stuff that comes along with it, some administrative stuff, there's some business stuff, some nonprofit stuff that comes with it, some systems and some organization. But I'd say, generally speaking, most pastors, when they're called into pastoral ministry, they don't envision themselves organizing systems and administrating. They see themselves teaching. They see themselves organizing materials for people to read or for them to learn about God with. And they see themselves providing coaching or counseling or advice or wisdom or guidance. So here I am doing all of these things except the writing. I'm speaking. I'm everywhere. I am giving advice and coaching. Sometimes, I mean, most of the time, I'm doing it. Well, I'm doing it based on a salary that I'm getting from the church, but it's completely unregulated. There are no boundaries. I mean, I could do it at 3 a.m. in the morning if I get a call. I would have to go rescue a crisis situation in the middle of a date night, with the wife. It was just all over the place. And I loved that. But when I decided to focus just on the men and to pursue this area of ministry as I felt God led me to, I realized, man, I don't know how to build a business. I was so used to depending on somebody else taking care of business for me that I didn't know how to take care of business for myself. And then the other thing I realized is I said, man, there are all of these great men of God. And I think people will understand what I'm saying, especially in our community. When I say our community, I'm talking about skin color right now. Man, great orators. As a people, we are gifted in the area of the arts. We can speak, we can sing, but a lot of times we don't leave a legacy of something on the printed page of things that have helped people. And we know this, and this is what the thing that opened my eyes, Kimon. I know of people in our church environment, especially the ones that are a little lighter than us. They're the ones whose books are inside Lifeway, that our congregation spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for, but our faces are not on them. Their resources, their Bible studies, their small group curriculums, they're all over the place. They're on Amazon, they're online. You don't see many of us getting the backing to publish these kinds of things. And I realized, I said, man, you can spend your whole ministry preaching great sermons, Pierre, but if you don't put anything down on a piece of paper, it is as if you spent the majority of your ministry doing nothing. Your legacy lives on through what you produce. And a lot of us just don't have the discipline or the boundaries to do that. But I will tell you this, once I started doing that and disciplining myself to do those things, man, it opened up doors for more coaching, for more speaking, for more ministry, for greater impact, for more resources, for more people. Just the doors opened when I added that piece to the trifecta of ministry in my life.
I love it. I love it. Listen, y'all, if y'all coming on to the conversation, I need y'all to lock in. Somebody just put Coach Wright Speak. Just put Coach Wright Speak in the comments. Coach Wright Speak in the comments. How about you, Pierre? How is those three things? And I know we're talking three people on here beside myself. We all have worked in a church space as pastors, but I think this also applies if you're an educator, right? You're doing coaching, writing, speaking. If you are you're as a therapist, a counselor, a social worker, you're doing the same thing. How about you, Pierre? How has that helped you in the growing of your business?
I think it's just right now, MyRon, that I'm thinking about this particular element of it. When we were in seminary, we had professors. You had to buy their book for the class. And then these same professors were traveling to churches on the weekend, sometimes not taking any honorariums because they were going to sell that book that you had to buy for class in evening, weekends at the church. And then a lot of these professors were doing one-on-one conversations with students or faculty members or community members. So they had a semblance of a speak, write, coach ecosystem that, like, if you zoom out, look at it from 35,000 feet, was always there. when I decided as a full-time pastor that I wanted to take my collection of notes on leadership and turn it into something, Athena, the first thought was a book. This simple book opened the door to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I had to get over was that the first book I wrote was not going to be my magnum opus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Being okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
The simple book opened the door to speak on just some really cool, crazy stages that we've talked about it several times, come on and out on during our lives. And then when you speak on stages, people want more of you. They want more of that ministry exchange, that experience. So what people will start to ask, MyRon, do you have a coaching program?
Mm-hmm.
How can we stay in contact with you?
Mm-hmm.
What's after the keynote? What's after the workshop? What's after the training? So I had to actually develop a coaching program. And I wish I had these conversations maybe 15 years ago. The book opened the door for me I was already speaking, but I recognized the book opened some different doors, because once you write a book, you become a subject matter expert. The perspective
That's right.
on it. So it's elevate. I've walked into places where people have said, large speaking engagements, they'll say, listen, Pierre, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't read your book, but I bought it. And just how the cover looked and the topic, I knew you were going to be the speaker for our keynote.
Yeah.
That led to the big time speaking opportunities, which led to, okay, if you want to sustain, because being on the road and speaking, sometimes you got to moderate your energy. You can connect with even more people if there's a community for them to be a part of. And I struggled in putting those pieces together along the way, and that ecosystem still works really, really well.
I love it. Yo, I want to shout out the folks on Instagram, Jevinson, Latoya, Ali Bryan, and I see the folks here on Facebook and on YouTube. All right, Athena, yes, the person who travels to wonderful places to speak. I'm so jealous. But talk to us about how these three areas have been instrumental in the building of your business.
Listening to everyone, my journey was kind of a little bit backwards, because I was not a pastor. I did not have a speaking itinerary. I was young in ministry, having just had my I had graduated seminary, had small kids, and doing it all. But the thing that started my journey and opened the door was my book. Okay, I didn't have all of the other accolades. All I had was my story, my purpose, and my book. And I thought that was going to be the end all. But it was really the foundation of so much more. So my book, Grace for the Journey, not to put a plug in, but my book also birthed ministry, which was also by the same name. And as a young minister who didn't have people, banging down my door because they didn't know me, anytime I did get called to preach, guess what I did? I opened my book and I pulled sermons from there, and I preached out of my book. And I didn't have a table or anything out there Sunday morning, but I was able to reference, I wrote about this topic in my book. So then now, authority, right? That book opens door for authority. So now people were all of a sudden, hey, who's this young preacher lady who has a book and an author? So now it opened doors for, well, why don't you come to my church and do this workshop? Okay. So guess where I pulled all of my content from? My book. So I developed workshops and speaking. I had talks, all of it from my one book. I was like I can't even say a broken record, because I was picking a different chapter. So whether it was from, chapter 7 or chapter 2, whatever it was, I had content. I had a book. It was only one book at the time. Being asked to go across seas, doing workshops, speak all from the one book. So I was a little nobody.
Mm.
I didn't have a big name or anything. I just had a story that I put into a book that God called me to do.
Mm.
It opened the door for ministry. And here, I still had that low value. I wasn't charging to even speak or do any of these wild things at that time. I was just showing up, with my little book and talking and preaching my heart out. But it just kept opening doors. And guess what? Then other people started teaching from my book. Groups, it became so much bigger than me. And then yes, it developed into a business. Yes, it has all these other things. But for me, it just started with a small name, one act of obedience, and that was my book.
I love it. I love it. Wow, what a story. I just had a book. That's your TED talk right there, Athena. I just had a book. I just had
The
one
doors are
book.
open. Doors of the church are
I
open.
love it. I love it. I just had one book. I just had one. Now listen, for those of you, again, if you are a pastor, you can resonate with what a lot has been said today. But if you're an educator, you have the same story, right? You are in a classroom every day speaking, you are writing, and you are coaching. You are having conversations with students, you're having conversations with others. If you are in the social services, social worker, if you're a counselor, you're doing the same thing. And a lot of us, even in a faith-based background, because of your work in the church, you are developing these skills. And one of the things that we have a passion for is we recognize, the four of us, through our work bridging that gap between ministry and marketplace, that a lot of what we simply confine to church spaces has value in the marketplace. Our books that we sometimes are sitting on that we haven't written, it's the thing that someone is looking for and they just need you to write it. That talk that you might have been giving to a classroom, as a workshop, wherever, it has a value out in the marketplace. A company, an organization, a conference, an event is looking for it. And finally, your coaching program is a way that you can walk people through a way to grow and to have influence. And so one of the things the four of us said is, we know that there are people like us, faith-driven professionals, who are sitting on something and want to grow it. And maybe you've actually started taking action on it. And now you're saying, how can I level this up? Maybe I've hit a plateau and I know by myself, I'm not going to grow it any further. Or I'm going through that doubt season, right? So I'm in my head, I am questioning, I'm around people that don't believe, and I need to get around some people who will help me get to the next level. So the four of us said, instead of us help you start a coaching business or grow a coaching business and then grow a writing business separately, or write a book separately, or speak, what if we put the three things together, coach, write, speak, into one opportunity for faith-driven professionals to grow income and increase their impact? Because really, we're not apologizing for increasing income in a world where a lot of us, the job security we thought we had is shaky. We're saying, no, how about we create our own income streams, one, but also let's impact people beyond the spaces that we traditionally find ourselves in. And that's what the four of us are here to share with you this evening, an opportunity. Listen, it's an opportunity in this month of October for you to level up, to take a holistic approach to growing your business, and to really do more with what God has called you to work with. So we want to introduce you this evening to the Monetize Your Ministry Challenge. It's a 3-part, 3-week challenge on how to grow a coaching business, how to write your book and use that book as leverage, and how to then begin speaking on the things that you're coaching on and on the things that you're writing on. So here's what I need someone to do for me. I need you to put this link in the chat, www, you don't really need a www, monetizeyourministrychallenge.com. It's a little bit long, so monetizeyourministrychallenge.com. And while you're putting it there, I want to ask any one of the folks on here. Cerise says, needed to hear all of this, Athena. She struggles with the bleeding heart. But it's for someone on here, one of our coaches here, share with us, what's so unique about this 3-part challenge that we're doing in the month of October that kicks off next Monday, by the way?
Yeah, the unique thing is that it's the unselfish nature of Kimon Hines and his vision, his ministry mindedness to say, let's not divide these things into 3 separate needs. The truth is, if you are going to start a 6-figure, 7-figure coaching business, and let's be honest, 6 figures is the floor right now. It's not even the ceiling anymore, right? So that is completely possible for you to. I mean, it's beyond possible. But if you're a coach, you're a speaker. If you're a speaker and you're worth your salt, you need to have the discipline to put something down on paper. And so all of these things work in tandem together. And I wish that when I was starting out, I had this entire team helping me to put all these things together. It could have accelerated my impact. It could have accelerated my income. It could have broadened my reach if I would have had all 3 of these. I think all of us probably could say to some degree, we kind of fell into all 3 of these things. And even if you're just a speaker, you know this, Pierre, when you preach, when you teach, when you give all of that energy and that passion, after it's over, people want what you have. They want advice now. They want guidance now. They want information now. They want to figure out how to live their lives. And sometimes we keep people at bay because we have nothing else to offer. And so, keep on. If I could just say this, man, the thing that held me under conviction, and you know, bro, I paid you, my friend, one of my closest friends. I had to get over the limiting belief that investing in myself and my ministry was a thing that needed to be done while I'm out here buying sneakers. Bro, I was a sneakerhead, had thousands of dollars. I didn't mind being a consumer, but I did not treat my gift like it was worth it. I was burying it in the ground, if you would. And so there's a lot of folks on here, Kimon. I know we come into contact with these folks all the time, Athena, and they're like, man, I got a book, or man, I got this ministry idea, or I feel like God is calling me to this. Bro, you mean to tell me God has called you to do something and you have done nothing with it? Bro, that is tantamount to sin, to take no action on something God told you to do, or you just keep getting up every day 9 to 5 and going to your job. Are you serious? Like, we have to take action on this because it's our birthright. It's our assignment. And so that's where I had to get, man. And I thank God. I thank God that I'm finally here. Somebody said I need to stay out their business. It's the truth. It's hard when you're a sneakerhead. Yes, it is. Yes.
And can I jump in and say, no one else is coming to save you.
No.
I was thinking about this today. Look, let's think for a millisecond of what's going on in our world, in our country today. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna say it again. No one else is coming to save you.
That's right. That's right.
And I said no one else because we are in faith and Jesus already came, okay, to save. All right. And all of the gifts has already been placed in us, right? The purpose and calling has already gone forth. So it is up to us to use what God has already left in us to do what we're supposed to do. Because guess what? No one else is going to save. No one else is coming. Yeah. Right. And so we who have these bleeding hearts, sister, brother, who are on here, who have these bleeding hearts, use that as your passion and magnet to get it done. Legacy. Listen, I heard today that it's banned book week. Listen, guess what they're still doing with banned books? They're reading them. Why? Because they're legacy. Right. So that's why it all works together. It all works together. And if you know how, and I'm going to throw out a lifeboat, MyRon, I'm going to throw out the lifeboat for the people who's saying, I haven't done it and be obedient yet. It's because I don't know how. And I love that because we got answers.
Yeah.
We can help you with the how. We
Yeah.
can't help you with the you need to be obedient part.
Mm.
You have to come to the table with that heart, that passion, and your yes. We'll give you the tools to get it done. That's all I had to say. No, because no one else is coming to help you.
Wow.
So let me just tell this real quick story that I heard from one of my favorite speakers of all time. You mentioned Legacy Athena, Les Brown. So years ago, Les Brown was at a speaker conference and a guy keynoting was not that great of a speaker. And the guy in his keynote is like, yo, you probably wondering, because most of you in the audience are much better speakers than I'll ever be. You're probably wondering how I'm on the stage doing the keynote and you're listening to me. He said, the speaker said, it's simple. I believe in my gift more than you believe in yours.
Mm.
And once you start believing in your gift, you're going to take action.
Strong.
If you believe in it, you God gifted, call it. He done told you for years. He giving you visions, dreams, signs, and wonders. Then where's the action?
This is strong. Listen, this month of October is going to be a pivotal month for us. Listen, some people are saying, I'm going to wait until January 1st to take action on my New Year's resolutions, new year, new me. Here's my goals, all of that stuff. No, actually, you can start in October, getting a head start on all the things that you want to do. And one of the things for a lot of us is, let me finally take action on the thing that God has given me, that idea. Let me finally invest in this business. I got the LLC. I pay the fees every year. Let me actually take action on that book idea that I've been talking about. Let me stop letting people pick my brain for free and all the stuff that I have in my head. Let me actually take the message that I have and get a bigger audience so that they can hear it. And one of the things we're saying is there's the challenge, the monetize your ministry challenge.com. There are two ways you can do this. You can do general admission or you can do VIP, but we strongly suggest you do VIP because you'll get an extra hour of coaching. So it's not just we teach, but you get an extra hour from each coach and you get to get your questions answered. And listen, you do all three challenges, all three of the tracks of the challenge. It's a ridiculous price. But on top of that, one of the things we're talking about is we realize what is happening in our nation, in our world. And so we're doing something for the next 48 hours. So until Wednesday night. Wednesday is a special day for someone on here. So we're doing something special until the end of Wednesday. We're giving half off. So simply go to monetizeyourministrychallenge.com and use the coupon code half off. Some people receive gifts on your birthday. Others give gifts on your birthday. And so this is a birthday gift that we're giving for you by Wednesday at midnight. In fact, I wouldn't wait until then. I would go right now, monetizeyourministrychallenge.com, put in the coupon code half off, and you'll get half off. And you can get all three tracks, coaching, writing, speaking, VIP for less than $100. So that you get to spend 3 weeks. And all of us are going to be on all the challenges. We'll be in there sharing from our experiences on there. Kamal, you came at the right time. My timing is perfect.
Can we just say how crazy that? Can we just
This
say
is
how
wild.
crazy that is?
Yeah.
You get all three challenges for less than $100.
Yeah.
Yo,
VIP.
we know
VIP.
VIP recordings. We know people who have taken our individual challenge and just the challenge of what we offer. They've 10x'd.
Yeah.
Just from the chat. And you trying to tell me we about to do this thing for less than $100 and you get the speaking challenge, the writing challenge, and the coaching challenge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Folks, there are two actions I'm gonna ask you to take. One, sign up for yourself. So that's number one. Sign up for yourself. You didn't happen on this live by accident. You didn't watch this replay by accident. There's a reason why you felt like we were talking about you. There's a reason why some of this stuff is resonating with you, because this is your time. This is something that is for you. So that's the first thing, to register. The second is, don't show up alone. Share this with someone, tag someone in the comments on this live. Let someone else know, hey, listen, we're doing this challenge together. Because if we do it together, we'll hold each other accountable for the execution of the things that they're going to teach us. So don't just sign up, show up with someone else. The first kickoff is Monday. We're doing coaching. MyRon, I'm going to ask you this. I put you on the spot. Give us one gem of a piece of something that you're going to share with us next week on this coaching track on the challenge.
Oh man, listen. Six figures is easy. If they could simply just learn this one thing that I want to tell them. That's it. There was one thing that I figured out. And once I learned that, bro, six figures becomes very simple. Some folks are worried about, I quit my job. Stop worrying, be obedient. And if they could just learn this one secret principle, 6 figures becomes easy. Everything just becomes easy after that. Yeah.
All right. That's a teaser right there. All right, Athena, you got anything you want to give us a little peek?
I'm going to say this. If you can say it, you can write it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can write it, you can sell it. I am going to help in our writing challenge get the how. Because here's the thing, if you can talk for 30 minutes, let's even stretch it to 45 minutes without notes, that means you got a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to help you answer the question. About how can I get that into a framework, into a book that I can sell, that I can take on the road. That's it. If you can say it.
I love it.
Yeah, come on, Dorian. He's like, all three? He's like, all three.
He says all three. All three. I'm invested in myself. I love it. All right, Pierre, I mean, can you give us, I know we've done this challenge a few times, but I know every time we do it, something is new. What might be new this time? Or just give us something.
Man, they're simple, man. There are people who are assigned to your voice. There are people who are assigned to your voice, both inside and outside of the church. They're assigned to your voice. And because they're assigned to your voice, there's a specific framework that you need to use to reach those people. And we'll teach you that framework.
I love it. Listen, y'all, we've been on here. These folks are worked all day and they on here this evening to share from their heart, from their expertise, from their stories. And each of us here, we have a burden for you, because here is what I realize in my work as a business coach, coaching $1 million companies in the home service industry, working with these contractors every day. What I learned in that process is that the things that these faith-driven professionals that we're talking to today, the things you have, the things you sit on, the things that you know how to do, the creativity that you have, that is exactly what those organizations, what those companies, what those individuals, what those people are looking for. And it just takes you stepping out and packaging it and putting it before them. And so that's what we're here to do. That's what we want to do in this challenge. So again, the link, www.monetizeyourministrychallenge.com, monetizeyourministrychallenge.com. And until Wednesday at midnight, so Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, you'll get half off by using the coupon code, half off, just one word. So monetizeyourministrychallenge.com. All right, listen, have a great rest of your evening. I asked these individuals for 30 minutes. They gave us 50. Y'all just come on, show some love in the comments for these coaches who will be with you for the next 3 weeks starting on Monday. So if you're here this Monday, you're going to be with us next Monday, 3 days, next Monday, 3 days, next Monday, 3 days. Coach, write, speak. Let's learn how to take what we have and increase our income and our impact. Let me make sure I'm not missing any questions, any comments. But yeah, come on now, give it up for these coaches that will be here. And who's going to be on? I just should have show of hands. Who's going to be on for our challenge starting next week? Just give me a show of hands. Let me know. Okay, I see you, Sharice. See you, Wendy. Love it. Somebody says, y'all are messing with my circadian rhythms with this announcement. How am I supposed? This is what you do, Miguel. If you can't sleep, register and then share it with about 10 people. It will help. I just promise you that. It's gonna help you with that. All right. You all have a great half off. That's it, Ali Bryan. Half off. So monetizeyourministrychallenge.com. Let me put it over here for my Instagram people. Monetizeyourministrychallenge.com. And the coupon code is half off. All right, good people. Have a great rest of your evening. We'll see y'all in the challenge. We'll see y'all later on this week on a live sometime.